Okay, here's the log splitter that I'm going to be putting a new motor on. Reason being is because the plate over here was fine. All I had to do was just get another bearing for the crank, because the crank on the old one did not have a bearing, so I had to change that plate. I had to change the plate anyway, the face plate, because of those 4 bolts, so I can mount this hydraulic pump to it. Now I just found out that I could get the plate to work on the crank end, but if you look at the carburetor really closely, it's totally different than the original carburetor. And the original carburetor does not have a tank. And I could swap the tanks around and use that, but the linkage won't match up. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to put 2 carburetors that need to be rebuilt, which isn't a hard thing, but it's just not worth it at this stage. And if I use the original carburetor, which I need to do, and put it on that tank, the linkage is not going to match up anyway. The linkage is totally different, and it will enable me not to use any of these controls. I just do the control in there, I just stop the movie. Anyway, will enable me not to use any of those controls, and I like to be able to have some type of controls instead of jerry-rigging it, you know, because it is a pretty decent log splitter. And it's about a 25 ton. And it would be a nice upgrade to get a 6.5 horsepower. Well, off to Harbor Freight I go. I'm going to get this 6.5 horsepower. It's on sale for $99.99, and with this 20% off coupon, guess what? It's only 80 bucks. So I'm going to go pick it up, see how everything works out, and I'll let you know. Bye. Well, here I go, going off to Harbor Freight. Looks like I'm going to need to save that extra $20, you know, because I'm going to probably use a portion of it for gas. Before I go, I just wanted to measure to make sure that I had the right clearance. I was looking at the bolt down there, and the bolt from the edge of the pump is approximately 2 inches, and it comes up from the base plate about 6 inches. So this way I have some type of baseline, and I'll know exactly, you know, the new motor is going to fit in on. I hope it does. Otherwise I can always just move it over, I guess, a little bit, but I'm going to have to drill out the base plate. Anyway, off I go. Right now the log splitter is dead. Maybe not quite as dead as what we're looking at right there, but very soon we're going to be entering the highway. We're off to getting a new motor. I think that extra $20, I definitely need that, without a doubt. It'd be nice to save that 20 bucks on the motor. Use it for some gas. See you later. Gotta drive. Well, just went to Harbor Freight, picked up the motor. As you see, I paid $84.79. There I go. Back home. Do some work. Well, here's my new $80 motor. 6.5 horsepower overhead. And here's the old one. I'm going to put it back together. Actually, it's not the old one. It's the one that I was going to try to use. But I'm going to put that plate back on. Get it back to the way it was, because it is a good motor. And I can use it for my rototiller in case anything ever happens with that. And I think I have a extra snowblower too that has a 5 horsepower too. So I'm definitely going to put this thing back together, mothball it, spray some stuff down the cylinder, and keep it for future use. Anyway, just to go over those 2 carburetors. The new one, actually the existing one that you see with the gasoline tank, that one, the mounting hole was totally different than the one on the motor I was going to use to replace, that's mounted to the log splitter right now, which forced me to use the old carburetor. Now the only difference between the two are just basically the mounting holes. And that's basically about it. It's you know, it's unfortunate, but got a new motor. It's going to be a little upgrade, you know, another horsepower and a half. And I'm going to unbox everything, put the old motor back together, mount the new motor, and when I mount the new motor and get it all together, I might just put in one more video on how to hook up the hydraulic pump, and basically that's about it. But it's a pretty much standard mount, and it's really no issues. Nothing really has to be done. Okay, here's the 5 horsepower that I was trying to use. I put it all back together. It has the original plate on the side, and it's going to be great to maybe even resell. I don't know, because the other motors are pretty good. I take good care of them, so they might actually last a long time. And the upgrade might end up being a motor like this, because this is well worth the money. It's phenomenal. It's quiet. There's a lot more power to it than the 5 horsepower. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a 6.5 horsepower if you have to compare it to a 5 horsepower. It seems like it's almost double the horsepower and double the power. And it's a lot quieter. It runs really, really smooth. It's just a phenomenal piece. Alrighty, here's the rusted basket case, the original motor that was on there, nice and rusted, like the rest of the unit shows. Anyway, this is the good stuff. I was actually able to say the recoil, muffler, head, gas cap, the elbow that goes to the breather. I actually have the tube somewhere. I'm going to say that too. I have the drain plugs in case you lose one. You know, you'll always have one, and they fit a lot of different types of Briggs and Tecumseh, and it'll even work on the motor that I replaced. And that's basically about it. Oh, and also, of course, the nuts and bolts. I always save nuts and bolts and springs and stuff like that, because you never know when you're going to use them. Okay, here's the new motor, mounted, running good, very little vibration. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it's a lot quieter. Usually a lot faster, but I just want to keep it at an idle. Well, that's it. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Just wanted to mention one thing. The coupler, it seems that all these 6.5 horsepower motors use 1.25. That's the threads. And it's a 8mm, and this application used a 3/4 inch bolt against 1.25, 8mm, and I used a 3/4 inch bolt with lock washers, of course. Take care. See you soon.